Hi, I'm Chef Gail Sokol and welcome to my kitchen. Glad to have you here. We are going to be making such an ultimate chocolate cake. I have to read it. It's got a very intense name and there's no way I can shorten the name. Are you ready? It's a chocolate, and I mean chocolate, coconut pecan milk jam cake. Milk jam is another word for dulce de leche, or another phrase for dulce de leche. You know that delicious sort of milk candy, that caramelized milk? Well, it's in the filling of this cake, to the point where if you ever make this cake and bring it to a neighbor's house or a friend's house, you're going to want to take it back. It will never get over there, folks, because it's that good and that intense. I promise you. But before we get started, I'd like you to click that notification button. I want you to become a subscriber. I don't want you to miss any of my weekly videos or tips. I love having you in my kitchen. It's really a pleasure and an honor. All right. This is the cake of all cakes. And I love chocolate cake, but this has a filling, this coconut, pecan, sort of milk jam, this dulce de leche, this yummy thing that you'll go nuts over. First thing you want to do, we have to make our cake. So you preheat your oven to 300 degrees Fahrenheit. You heard me. 300, very low heat. This bakes low and slow. This cake bakes, it's 3 layers, and it bakes for about an hour to an hour and 10 minutes, depending on your oven. Now, I have 3 9-inch cake pans that I have sprayed with nonstick cooking spray. I have put a parchment cake circle in each one, sprayed them again, and then floured them and dumped out the excess. Now, I don't have 3 9-inch cake pans, huh? Even Chef Gail doesn't always have 3 of something. So I used a springform pan, a 9-inch springform pan. It works great. So if you have 1 or 2 9-inch springform pans and you have 1 9-inch cake pan, perfect. All right, so I'm going to set those aside. Now this is known as the one-stage method, the one-bowl method, or the dumping method. Very, very easy. It makes a very tender cake because no butter is in this cake. It's oil. And we usually put the dry ingredients into the wet ingredients. The wet ingredients are going to be in our electric mixing bowl. So the first thing I'm going to do is whisk together my dry ingredients, and I'm going to read it so I make sure I get it right. There's going to be 3 cups plus 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, and then I am going to add my 2.5 teaspoons of baking soda, my 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and 1.25 teaspoons of salt. That's a lot. And we have a lot of baking soda in here because baking soda needs an acid to react, to get that neutralization reaction, to create carbon dioxide gas bubbles that help the cake to rise. So we're using an acid, unsweetened cocoa powder. It's actually acidic. This is not Dutch process, which is not acidic. This is the natural unsweetened cocoa powder that you find in the grocery store. And this is 2 cups. So this is very chocolatey. Okay, so 2 cups, put it right in there. And then I'm going to whisk it just a little bit. And then I don't want to forget my sugar. It's a lot of sugar. 3 3/4 cups of granulated sugar. But remember, this is a 3-layer cake to make the ultimate in chocolate cakes. All right, are you ready? So we're whisking this up. Don't take a deep breath. You'll breathe in the cocoa. You will, you'll breathe in the cocoa. No one wants to die by cocoa powder, right? You know, you've heard of death by chocolate, but that's not a fun way to go. All right, so you're gonna whisk that up. Once this is whisked up, you really want to get those chemical leaveners whisked together and homogeneously blended so nothing rises in one area and is too heavy in another area. All right, so we're gonna leave that. Perfect. And now I'm going to go to my electric mixing bowl, and I have taken 2 cups of piping hot coffee and 2/3 cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips, and I whisk them together. And you can make any coffee you want. It can be decaf, it can be instant, it can be your finest coffee, whatever you want to do. And you're going to let it cool down a little bit, which I have. And you're just going to leave it there. We're not using it just yet. I have 4 large eggs. I'm going to pour those in there. So this is our liquid ingredients, and then our dry ingredients get added into the liquid ingredients. 1 cup of oil. This is the key, folks, to make this batter extremely tender. This oil is not butter, although I love butter cakes. Oil coats every strand of gluten that is created by the flour, creating the most delicate, the most tender cake you'll ever have in your life. All right, a teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. Don't use anything else but pure. 2 cups of well-shaken buttermilk. You can use light buttermilk, low-fat buttermilk. You can use fully fatted buttermilk, whatever you can find. All right. And then I'm going to take my paddle, and I'm just going to whirl these around a little bit, and then I'm going to add my coffee and my chocolate. Okay? I'm just going to get those yolks broken. And this is cooled a little bit. I just don't want it cooking my eggs. And then I have a big spoon because we're going to have to add all the dry ingredients into our liquid ingredients. This is known as the one-stage method. Now, if you don't have an electric mixer, no worries. Just do it in a big bowl and do it by hand. And I've done it. So you can whisk things together, do whatever you want. Now, the key is to lifting this big bowl and bringing it over here and slowly adding these dry ingredients and having Chef Gail get them all in the bowl and not on the floor. Ooh, I'm shaking. This is like lifting weights. Woo! All right, so get everything in there. Don't forget, this is actually going to be, oh, I forgot to add my chocolate. Let me add my chocolate. It's okay, you can add it at any point, but this is when you really want to do it. And then you'll see a little bit of the chocolate in there. That's fine. So just bring that yummy chocolate in. It will blend in, don't worry. And then we're going to continue mixing. This batter is thin. It's thin. Don't get upset if it's not thick and emulsified like a creaming method batter with butter. This is very thin. It's known to be thin. If you see me shaking, it's because I got a big bowl. Don't get upset. All right. Just adding it very gingerly in here. All right. And then we're going to bake it. We're going to divide them. Just going to eyeball it and divide each pan, or divide the batter amongst each pan. And you won't even have to smooth the batter because it's basically going to be a liquid batter. And then you're going to bake it between 1 hour and 1 hour and 10 minutes until a small sharp knife comes out clean when inserted in the center, or you push down on the cake gently and it springs back. And the other way to tell if the cake is done, I have a video on this. The third way to tell when a cake is done is when the sides of the cake sort of bake away from the pan. So you'll see that happen. The reason I'm going slow with this too is because I want to make sure my bowl doesn't get overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed because sometimes I make this by hand, just with a whisk. But it's a lot of cake. I'm telling you, this is going to be a big cake. Big cake. 3 9-inch layers. This gorgeous coconut pecan milk jam filling, like nothing you've ever had. And I didn't tell you the best. We're coating it in a chocolate glaze. Yeah, you can't get better than this. You can't get better than this. So check with your cardiologist, although it does have healthy oil. It is one of my most favorite cakes of all time. All right, we're almost there. We're at the home stretch. It's a good thing because my mixing bowl, which is pretty big as it is getting to its limit. All right, you ready? All right, we're gonna get a better handle on it. Okay, and now we're really ready for the end stretch. And then what I'm gonna do is go around with a rubber spatula because you've got to get all those dry ingredients a little bit better combined. Sometimes the mixer doesn't do it all the way. All right, that's my trick, right? I always do that. So what I'm going to do is wait to get the rest of that in after I get it out. Okay, just going to up the speed for a second, make sure everything's mixed. Oh, it's so dark and chocolatey. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. Oh my gosh. It's like one of those dark, deep dark, delicious cakes. Look at how dark this is. Wait a minute, I need two hands. It's so heavy. Look how heavy. And it is, like I said, very, very, very thin. Thin batter, but fabulous cake. You will not be sorry if you make this type cake. Now I'm going to add the rest of this. You can add it in your mixer, just add it in, but that's all I'm doing. Okay? Now I'm just going to go around. You can see how dark and chocolatey this is. I'm just going to go around, get everything in there, and then I'm going to get my pans and fill them, and then get it in the oven. And just, you don't want to mix too much. You don't want to create gluten. But the oil is sort of a protective mechanism. It's really going to maintain a beautiful tenderness. This has a crumb like no chocolate cake I've ever had. It is, if you want to like propose to somebody, this is your cake. You want to impress a boss, this is your cake. You want to make friends, this is your cake. I'm telling you, you can't go wrong with this cake. It's outrageous. All right, you ready? We're ready. I had to take the time to do this. All right, let's see. Let's get all our cake pans close by. And, okay, so now I'm just gonna eyeball it. I always start by putting a little bit. You can weigh it out, but I'm just gonna put a little bit in each. No spreading is necessary. A little bit in it. Look how dark. Look how gorgeous this is. Oh my gosh, you will not be unhappy with this cake. All right. And yes, give it time to bake. 300 degrees, low and slow is fabulous. I've never had another cake bake like this, but it's so worth it. Take the time. Take the time and bake a cake like this. All right. Last bit is going in here. And then we're going in the oven. Try to make sure your pans, when they're in the oven on the racks, don't touch each other. Try to keep a little space so that the oven heat can get all around and not sort of squeeze any, everybody wants is fighting for the heat. Okay. All right. I am putting these in the oven for 1 hour to 1 hour and 10 minutes, and I'll see you back. As you can see, my beautiful 3 layers of my exquisite chocolate cake have come out of the oven. When they were barely warm, I took them out of the pan, and I put them on a foil-lined cake circles so I can build them up with the filling. And then there's going to be a chocolate butter glaze. Oh, I'm so excited. It's going to be scrumptious and absolutely gorgeous. All right, so first things first, let's make our filling. So we want to make our coconut pecan milk jam filling, and I am using a full recipe, about 2 cups of my dulce de leche recipe that I just did a video for, and that is milk jam, another word for milk jam, and it makes an exquisite filling. It's delicious. So I took some pecans that I broke up. You can either chop them with a knife coarsely, or you can just break them up with your finger. So I had pecan halves. I toasted them first, and there's 1.5 cups. So I'm putting them in there. Okay, this is a filling of all fillings, the ultimate filling. And then toasted coconut. 2.5 cups that I toasted, and you don't want to burn your coconut, but you want to smell your coconut. It's delicious. You put it in there. And then I have 2 teaspoons of coconut extract and 2 teaspoons of pure vanilla extract. And then you want to take a rubber spatula, and it's going to be like a crunchy, nutty, coconutty filling. But that's what we want. So I also have a little bit of water in a liquid measuring cup, just so we can spread the filling when we start filling each layer. So we're going to have 2 layers, 3 cakes, but 2 layers of filling. And you can see, just keep mixing it, and you can see that the dulce de leche, or the milk jam, actually does incorporate in between the coconut and the nuts. Oh, it's so good. And try not to eat it by the spoonfuls, please, before you fill your cake, because you will want to do that. I smell it now. It's like the urge to take a spoon and just put it in your mouth is very, very strong. It is so good. It's so good. And this is the easiest dulce de leche recipe ever, purely in the oven. Okay, so you see what I'm done? You see what I'm done? See what I've done? It's intoxicating. That's why I can't talk properly. See it? So delicious, right? So I'm going to take half of it, and I'm just going to eyeball it. Remember, we had about 2 cups of the dulce de leche, or the milk jam. So I'm just going to sort of divide it like that. And I'm going to build. So let's spread the area out a little bit. So, all right. So I'm going to build this. You don't have to do this, but I'm going to build this in my 9-inch springform pan. So one of my layers was baked in this 9-inch springform pan because I didn't have 3 9-inch cake pans. If you want to just build them individually, you can, just by themselves without any structure on the side, that's fine. But I cleaned it, and I dried it, 9-inch springform pan. I took the bottom off, and I put this 9-inch cake layer on a cut cake circle, cardboard cake circle, cut to fit right in here. And you can use the bottom of your pan to do that. Again, you don't have to do this. Now I'm going to put it into place. And the cake is going to be quite big. Don't get upset. It's going to be really big. I mean, if big cakes don't upset you, you'll be fine. So I have some water because that's the only way you can spread this filling. So I'm going to give us some, a little bit of filling here. Okay. And I don't want to use more than half. I don't think I'm using more than half. And then you're going to take your moistened, you don't want to wet it. You don't want it to be too wet, but you do want to be able to put it and move it around so that it can spread. And this is not the type of filling that's spreadable. This is filling, okay? You don't spread filling with a capital F. You have to sort of guide it and say, please, I'm going to guide you to the edge of the cake. So you're going to end up having this beautiful filling, and you're just going to have to guide it, okay? Even if you have to sort of scrape up a little bit and move it around, all right? Try to get it as even as possible, because once you cut into it, you want it to look really pretty. And we're going to put a chocolate butter glaze. It's not ganache. A chocolate butter glaze that's going to glisten, because we're going to put some corn syrup in it. And corn syrup gives things shine, okay? Sort of like diamonds do when we wear them when we go out at night. So I think I need just like a touch more, so I'm just going to take a little bit. We won't miss it. I'm just going to spread it a little, just a little dip. Dipsy doodle. Get it all around. See how it's almost there. I'm just going to get it all around, because it's really thick. I mean, it's basically coconut, pecans, and the dulce de leche or the milk jam is holding it together. It's basically, that's all it is. And what else would you want? It's just so good. All right, you see that? Now this cake is going to be super high. Super high. So we're going to go above and beyond. So I'm going to take my next layer and I'm going to flip it over in here, and we may have to guide it in. Okay, like push it in. Oh, you see that? When it gets a little bit stuck on there, eat it. Just scrape it off with a fork and eat it. It's so good. So push. I want you to really push. Push. I'm glad a little bit came out because it's very big. Push, 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 push. Gently push, push, and rotate it. And if you're not doing this in a springform pan, just gently put it on top, okay? But I'm really trying to, I want to compact it. I want it compact because I want to see chocolate filling, all right? Now, the remainder, okay? Here we go. Okay, you're getting worried, right? We're going to build it right up. We're going to build it right up. This is like a 10-story cake. And if you can't fit in all your filling, don't worry. Believe me, it'll go to some good use. I guarantee somebody in your house will like it. But this is what you are doing. I don't know if I'm going to have any more left over. I thought I'd have a few teaspoons left over to try, but I don't know. It's not looking good. I think I need it all. Okay, I need it all. Yep. Yep. I went right to the bottom of the bowl. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's so sad. Just bigger fillings, bigger pieces of filling and cake when we're ready. Oh, my gosh. And I'm going to rotate it. And you're not going to pack in your filling. You're going to use your offset and spread, okay? I see a little bit on the table. Don't want to waste it. You don't want to waste it. And move it around. And this other layer is going to go big. It's going to go big or go home. I'm serious. Go big or go home. And then we're going to chill it. I want it chilled. I'm going to put it in the freezer for about 30 minutes to an hour before we glaze it, because we're going to take it out of this pan. I'm using the pan just to get everything sort of, structured and get all the filling in there and make it all sort of nice, no edges or sides coming off. And if you baked your cake properly and mixed it properly, it should look just like mine. It should be flat. There shouldn't be any humps or bumps. Okay. All right. Are we ready for the next layer? I think we are. Okay. So we're going to flip this over very gently. Okay, very gently. And I'm just going to I pulled the other one off a little too hard. Yeah. And I'm not kidding. Take a spoon. Don't waste that stuff. All right, you see this? Push gently. Push gently. And just like this, I'm going to take a little bit of the coconut off. Just like this, I am going to put it in my freezer. But before I do, I am going to make my glaze. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you. My hands, I know, are not clean, but I'm going to show you what to do. So you're going to take a clean saucepan. You're going to put 2.5 sticks, this is not a ganache, of unsalted butter. And then you're going to take 3 tablespoons of corn syrup, okay? Clear corn syrup, not dark. You're going to put it in there for shine. You're going to melt it. Once it's melted, you're going to take, I want to make sure I get this right, 1 2/3 cups of semi-sweet chocolate chips. Once the butter is melted, you don't want it boiling, you want it melted, so you can turn up the heat to like medium-high till it's melted. Don't go anywhere. Take it off the heat, put your chocolate in, and whisk it till it's melted, all right? Then I'm going to take 1 cup of this glaze, and I'm going to chill it and get it so it's spreadable, because we're going to make like a little crumb layer first, and then we're going to pour the rest on top. I'll see you back. So I put my beautiful fudgy chocolate glaze over my beautiful triple threat cake. And I didn't want to bore you with doing that. I took my chocolate glaze and I refrigerated it. I stirred it maybe every 15 minutes or so. And within about 30 minutes to an hour, depending on how thick, I poured it into a bowl. It will get thick enough to spread because there's butter in it. Remember, this is not a ganache. This is a glaze, and a glaze you can spread. You can also melt it and keep it melted and just pour it over the cake as well. It'll just come down over the sides. So, are we ready? I chilled it. I'm ready to cut it. Are you ready for the big finale? Knife. Check. Okay. And the easiest way to get a nice, huge slice of chocolate cake with a beautiful glaze like this is a big glass of boiling hot water. Just make sure you don't break your glass. Put your knife in it because the knife is metal, and we want to heat that up. It's a good insulator, so just give that a second. And then we're going to go right down, and it should melt it like butter. All right, are you ready? I'm going to go right down. It's got to get through all those layers. Cake, pecan, coconut, milk jam. Oh my goodness. Okay, hold on. Hold the phone. Hold the phone. Oh my God, I love these. Whenever I make these type cakes, I'm going to cut it in half. Whenever I make these type cakes for like a dinner party, everyone like holds their breath because they want to see what the cake is going to look like. So do I. I want to taste it more than anything, right? So this size cake, we're not going to be like overly zealous, but I would think about 16 to 20 people it would feed. Not with the piece I'm cutting now. Remember, I'm doing this for demonstration purposes. Okay, so let's not be piggy about it. All right, I'm going to get this out of here. Are you ready? I hope I cut through. Are you ready? Are you ready? Oh my goodness, hold on. Hold on. Come on, baby. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's a cake. That is a cake. And I'm going to turn it around so you can see it. I'm shaking because it's so heavy. Look how pretty. Oh my goodness. Wait till you try this incredible chocolate, coconut pecan milk jam cake. You're going to love it. I hope you make it. I hope you write me and tell me what it's like and tell me what your friends and family think. I hope you become a subscriber. Till next time.